Hello everyone, welcome to Prosarium.net. Prosarium.net is an initiative to create positive representation for African women in games. We're doing this by documenting 1,000 African women who have a role in games, from hobbyists to game developers to esports professionals and more. You can support us on Patreon for exclusive content. And now, let's get to today's video.
Hi everyone. Today we are going to be interviewing Adefoyeke from Nigeria. She was our third interviewee for Prosarium.
Hi everyone, and hi CP. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for agreeing to this. I remember you were one of our first interviewees because you participated in Global Game Jam. Was it Global Game Jam Lagos?
Yes, Global Game Jam 2020. That was for Enter Africa Lagos.
What game did you work on?
Back then, I worked on Yaba's Quest. It
Cool.
was a game that followed on the theme of repair, which was that year's Global Game Jam theme. And it was a game where we tried to reimagine should I say, a scenario where human beings tried to coexist with robots in rebuilding their city that had been ruined by, should I say, like an apocalyptic event at that time. So I was responsible for writing the story, for developing the story for that game.
Right. I was actually about to ask you about that because I know you have a writing background. And I was like, that story sounds so good. How did you come up with it or what inspired it?
Okay. The inspiration for the story was okay. We had our game jam in the part of Lagos called Yaba, which is regarded as like a tech. We kept thinking, okay, repair. How in our immediate reality, how do we make it work for our reality? So we felt, okay, what about, we have so many, should I say, problems, challenges. What if we had to introduce robots to come and help us with these challenges, believing the human capacity to solve problems can be quite limited? What if we would not be so, should I say, willing to solve by themselves? What if we brought in like a people who could help, like colleagues who could help, something that we could coexist with, that would help us solve those problems? So we felt, okay, what could we do to disrupt the seeming peace we had in Yaba at that time? So we thought, of, okay, an earthquake, fine. That would cause enough disruption to make people run helter-skelter. And then, okay, when you say, let's try to repair, let's try to face the aftermath, who's going to come and clean up afterwards? Would people be so willing to come and participate in the cleanup activities? So that kind of built up into the stories with our own reservations about wanting to come and participate in cleanup exercises, and then creating the robots that would help to clean up the aftermath of the earthquake. And then we thought again, okay, being humans, if we then push robots to go and clean up, what's our attitude to the robots? Do we think they are going to do a good job in cleaning up? So we were looking at those different layers of our own biases and thinking of how to like fit them into the games. And we're also thinking of a futuristic setting that now you have so many automated things, you have homes that are automated, you have different automated things. Can we really coexist that kind of scenario? What is it going to be like in the future when we have to coexist?
I can't believe like the story. The story is so intense for a little game like that. I was just like, wow. I knew you were the writer behind it, so I just had to ask like what inspired it because I did read the story a little bit, and it was so interesting. But now hearing all this inspiration and just everything that is more has so much depth It's so exciting. It's so interesting to hear about.
It's quite convoluted, really.
Okay, no, it made sense to me. I was actually, see, when you're talking about it, I kind of thought about Wall-E, the movie, but though it's different, though it's pretty different, and it's it's quite original. The story that you made is quite original, and you have a background in writing, right? Or you work as a journalist, do you? Oh man, so.
Yes, I do. I work as a journalist, a writer, and a researcher well, my focus is on arts and culture. And I'm interested in how art forms can be used as communication tools, how art forms can be used to, should I say, preserve knowledge and then transmit the knowledge to maybe a next generation of people. Like you see a work of art, and then you can say, okay, this is the story behind this work of art. This is the civilization it came from. You can like infer by looking at that work of art that, okay, this is the period it came from. This is the story this is trying to tell. So my work revolves around writing about and looking at how people have used art forms to tell stories, to express themselves at different times in history.
I would love to see more people making games because games are one of the things which people can use to interact with culture, and games last for a while. So it's one of the ways um, that I think we can preserve culture. Have you ever written about games?
Global Game Jam. My role has pivoted more from working with those who create games to mapping the local gaming industry. With Enter Africa Lagos, we've had a project on the Nigerian gaming industry called Nigerian Gaming Industry Opportunities, Challenges, and Practices, where we try to look at the people who drive the industry. Who are they? And then what are they creating? And we not only write about those people, we also write about the work that they do, the products they are creating. We try to recommend one Nigerian made game a week to engage with their creators as well, so that people under those games created, what inspired the creator play. So it's I think my background has come in the fact that, okay, I'm able to like approach these people and then let them see, okay, we are interested in writing about gaming. We know you've been creating games, you've been working in the industry for a while. And it's not just the creators. We are trying to show that there are diverse professionals within the industry as well. Not everyone creates games. There are people who manage spaces where you can play games. There are people who coach people different manifestation and trying to showcase that. And so I think my skill set more.
Your research is like something which I'm interested in. I would like, and you're talking about one Nigerian game a week. That's a lot of games. Are there that many Nigerian games?
Truth is, the more you look, the more you see. Let me put it that way.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting and interesting, especially the research part of people having different roles in the games industry. We actually talked to someone last week about that, um, having different, about how um, people need to understand that there are different roles in the industry. And you've expanded on that, really. So that's pretty cool. If you had all the money and resources, what would you do for the gaming industry?
Okay, I think I would go with local. I think firstly, what I would do would be to create more access. And to create more access, you need like a bulk of information to gather data and information about do research into this industry, or maybe I want to invest in this industry, or I want to plant your fingertips and say, okay, yes, this is okay. I have read about the industry. It's quite interesting. These are the people who make it work. I can reach out to them and get things done. And then Secondly, I think what I would do would be in form of capacity building, because it's not just enough to have the information and data available. It's what you do with it. How do you empower people with it? So I think that would be in form of capacity building initiatives and empowerment, where you have spaces that enable people to be creative, learn how to create those things, and then spaces where they can also grants. That would be a key part of it, because for many, we don't have the finances to create to the extent that we would like to create. So grants would be a part of it, and then have knowledge exchange and sharing, and then you can develop meaningful solutions.
The capacity building, the access, the funding, grants, all that stuff. That's definitely what we need.
True, because some of the people we've spoken with have said, fine, we didn't have foreign content. We had to learn that, okay, this thing is not, so it's past that to you.
Even in our spaces, also like in Zambia and even South Africa, well, those are the places I'm familiar with. People do rely on or have relied on foreign content before. If you're a president, if you're a president, what would you do? What would you do to encourage game development?
That's a very interesting question. I think currently, part of the issues we have is people not regarding gaming a serious career path. We have other creative sectors that have developed. You have film with Nollywood, you have music, you have fashion in Nigeria. But then when you say gaming, people look at you like. So I think part of what I would do would be to reorientate. But I think that can be done in isolation. We have to have our institutions adopting gaming and gaming education as part of their mandates. I'm being hypothetical now. Let's say we have a gaming department with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, a department dedicated to pushing gaming, to promoting gaming and gaming education. And then you can have that department liaising with maybe the other ministries such as Women Affairs. You can have that ministry liaising with information and culture to use their probably push them into museums until Nigerian games can have their own dedicated museum in modules that are easily accessible to everyone. So I think what I would do would be to facilitate that synergy within ministries to sensitize the public on gaming, really, to develop and let people see it as a viable career path, that okay, this is what I want to do, and it's really, really possible to do something, to get something meaningful, to achieve something meaningful out of it.
You're so insightful. Your insights are, I wish we could actually make you president right now so that we can do What do you expect to see in the game development scene in the next 5 years?
Like I said earlier, true. And this is not just involvement and engagement in terms of people learning about the industry, people coming to create more, but in terms of investment, basically financial investment, where people come in and know, okay, I am creating this thing and I can actually make money from it. I can make a living out of it. And I hope people get to see that it's a viable career path rather than a recreational pursuit, and that people get to see the industry as one that accommodates a diverse set of professionals, that your skill sets are actually transferable and useful within the industry. And in the next 5 years, I hope it enjoys more cross-pollination with other industries, whether within the creative sector or outside of it. That way the industry gets to grow more. it's not just like an internal sharing of ideas now, it's like an external one where you get to learn from other people in other industries, and then you get to create solutions that are relevant not just to your own industry but to their own industries as well.
But before we end this interview, do you have any words of wisdom, any last things you want to say?
Wow. Words of wisdom. Let me see. A day will come when what you have created will be useful to everyone. So don't say you think people are not taking notice. Eventually, someone will. And even if you say, oh, it's on social media, it's not being liked and all that, like I always say, one like is enough. As long as you have one person liking it, it shows that your work has impacted someone. It's in the joy that comes with creating something. That's what I have to say. And yes,
So
Site, you are doing a really, really, really awesome job. And it's inspiring that you are showcasing women who are doing remarkable things in the gaming industry. And that you're also showcasing that diversity
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do.
in their professions, in their contributions. Yeah. And I really like the fact that it's not restricted to just one region within the continent. You're showing the various and should I say the beautiful aspects of everything that they are doing. And I think it's a good job that you should continue doing.
Thank you so much for the encouragement. I'm feeling really good about this interview. But unfortunately, it has to come to an end, unfortunately. But as you can see, as you've heard, for everyone who's watching this, Adefoyeke is the person you want to talk to about research on the games ecosystem in Nigeria. And yeah, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you so much for joining us. And I would also
Thank you
like
for
to thank,
having me.
yeah. And I'd also like to thank everyone watching, and especially our patrons who are subscribed to our Patreon and are making these things happen. So, yeah, that's the end of the interview. Bye.
Bye.